Greetings everyone, it's Sunday the 6th of August at Winton, race 2 of MG and Invited, out of Alister on Darchie's little race car, sprint engine, Toyota gearbox now, because he blew up the LT77. Just going to do a cut and splice over the blendline footage. We'll see how this works out. I haven't seen the race, so we'll just see how it goes. Now we've got the blend.
Okay, we have a red ute, HR179, that is in the way of the people out in the parade lap area, and also for medical access. So could the owner please of red ute, fairly late model looking sort of ute, HR179. Very good number plate to have, but it's not on a HR179. You must move your car straight away, please. It's in a area we need to have access to. You know your car, you parked it there very early this morning. I saw it when I first came in. So Holden Red Ute, HR179, please move it, or it will be picked up by the flat top truck.
How Aussie's that, eh? HR179.
And good morning from MG Racing Australia. Running through the grid on the warm-up lap, we've got Simon Elliott on pole, Mike Trathen in number 2, Danny Siama in 3, John Illingworth in number 4, Paul Vernal bringing in number 5, followed by Anthony Volibrant in number 6, Jason Edwards in the little MGF in number 7, John Makem in number 8, Alister Undarkchi in position 9, followed by Hank Zwadovine in number 10. Vince Gusciato having a cheeky visit with an MGF in number 11, and Mr. Hotz in number 12. Trevor Dunford in another MGF in 13, followed by David Badgent in 14, and Ed Ferguson, the nice presented TR Triumph in 15. And unfortunately, Phil Chester in the Monty Powered 72 has withdrawn for the weekend, won't be joining us on number 16. Don Bartley following the rear of grid, followed by Alana, who's also actually withdrawn with some broken bits, unfortunately. And as they come and do the warm-up lap, we'll see them join the grid.
And that was Gordon Bunyan in the yellow Spitfire. Here we go. Out of Alister's car and race start.
And off they go.
I noticed that he didn't, his entry form, put how big the engine is.
Oh, look, they're all about 5 litres, the big Rover V8s in the open class.
I thought that might be the case because the MG BGT was 3.5.
3.5, yeah. In fact, Danny Siama there, who just in screen number 15 there, that is an original MG BGT V8 from 1973, I believe. Still sporting an MG Rover gearbox and standard-ish MGB brakes. So there is definitely some fairly original cars out there. We see Tony Volibrant, having a bit of a battle with Jason Edwards in the MGF there through the windy bits. Oh, and Paul Vernal having a bit of a go with John Illingworth there. Unfortunately, just leaving the track. Hopefully, they can rejoin safely.
Yeah, well, I don't think Illingworth would be too happy about that.
No. Look, there might be some words later on, but racing's racing at the end of the day.
Yes.
Well, I think we've just seen Gordon Bunyan there off the back of the field, who missed out yesterday. I believe he shot home to fix the car, and he's back on track this morning to have a bit of fun.
In the Triumph Spitfire.
Yeah, in the old Triumph Spitfire. Gordon's been running that car a fair while and slowly developing it along. So shame he missed out on yesterday, but good to see him back on track today.
Yes, I used to race the Spitfire. I've got a
there's not a huge amount that's original in that car as far as I'm aware, but I believe that car is Group S spec as well, so it is still fairly original in the sense of the Triumph roots. Again, an invited car, as you see the TR8 there just leaving screen. As we watch John Illingworth and Trevor head down the front straight.
So here's the replay of the Illingworth clash.
Paul almost getting squeezed out there a little bit, not quite enough room on track for 2 cars by the looks of things.
luckily it looks if they did hit, there's not much damage.
Yeah, a little bit of car-car contact there, but nothing that a few friendly handshakes won't sort out later on. We see on screen now Vince Gucciardo, who's actually borrowed a drive of this little MGF from Phil Chester, out there having an absolute ball in the underpowered MGF, if you will. He's given Chris a bit of his, Jason, excuse me, a bit of a go here. The two MGFs running around the tight bits.
Well, they'd be having a ball. I wouldn't care about who's in front.
Look, they're a lot of fun to drive. I used to own one of these little MGFs, and again, the old 160 horsepower, and rear engine, mid-mount, rear-wheel drive. If you overcook it into a corner, they can talk back to you pretty quickly. But generally, they're a lot of fun. You're right. We see John Macon there just ducked through the screen in the little midget. John's owned that car for many a year, and just in the last few years got it recommissioned. So it's great to see John out there having a ball.
So we've got Elliott leading Tretton, Kiyama, Zawar Devon, Volderbrink, Edwards, making them in the top 8.
David Badgett really putting the pressure on Vince here. He's really making Vince work for it. The little 1275 MG midget. I believe it's still a 1275. Alister giving it all to Hank through turn 1 and 2, putting the pressure on Hank as John Maker might make a bit of a move here on Alister into turn 3. Or not quite. Tucks in behind nicely.
Now our program is wrong, and is that TR7 got a V8 in it?
No, it does in fact still have a TR4 cylinder, I believe. It's about 2 litres from memory.
Yep.
Fairly worked engine in the sense of the 4-cylinder, and Alister absolutely pedals the hell out of it, so he's having an absolute ball as well. Just gapping John a little bit through the sweeper there.
The weird thing with Leyland, and they did it with MG midgets. They had the 1275S in the Cooper, but they didn't put it in the sports car.
Yeah.
And they had the Dolomite Sprint engine, but they didn't put that in the TR7.
That was bigger again, wasn't it? Yeah. As we get a good look there of Simon Elliott absolutely handling this thing through there.
We've got a car with a loose bonnet that's been recorded.
Yeah, look, it'll give you a bit of insight. That's all carbon, and it looks like one of the front bonnet pins just come loose. There's a fair bit of air that's getting under that. See if the tower want to pull him in for that one, or they might just let him go if it's safe. There is 4 bonnet pins. It looks like it's going to hold together for the rest of the race, but we'll see how they go. That'll be a bit disappointing for Simon. He's out front. He's just done a 134, which is pretty reasonable for a lightweight little MGB V8.
Particularly as it's 6 seconds quicker than anyone else.
We could almost have a pit lane and fix it and get back out and stay in front, I reckon.
It's just about to say that.
So
it's 3 laps, he's 17 seconds ahead.
So a bit of history on that car. That is actually an extra MGB rubber nose. So in the previous
thing to do to a rubber nose.
Yeah, look, in the previous ownership there was a bit of an incident, and they rebodied it as an RV8 and made all fiberglass paneling for it, and it is as presented today in beautiful metallic red. And Simon's done a brilliant job of getting that car on track, and you have a look at the detail in the engine bay and the detail in the cockpit there. He's just done a really good job. Oh, Hank really feeling the pressure here from Alister. Alister's really making him work for this position, I'd say, as John's just making advantage of them slowing each other up. Hank's been with us a few years now in this campaigning this little MGB Group S spec car for what it's worth, and he loves getting out and having a good old steer of it.
Well, again, they're having their own little dice and having a ball out there.
They certainly are.
That's what it's all about.
Hank's just done a 145, and Alister looks like he's lapping it. He's lapping at 146s, but he has done a 144. So really putting the pressure on Hank and making the Group S MGB work for it. The Flying Dutchman, we'll call him. He's out here in Australia. He's from Holland, and always always wanted to go racing and got involved with MGs through family and friends, and he's hasn't turned back. So absolutely loving it out in the MG racing. A lot of camaraderie in the garages and a lot of assistance from each other, and it really makes for a good fun weekend as Alister really puts the pressure on through two. You see Tony Volibert there going to 3 in the ZR. Now that ZR is very, very highly developed. It's probably one of the highly developed ZRs in the series, putting out about 200 odd horsepower and some serious suspension work that's gone into that car to get that thing lapping at the early 40s. And the TR7 just sliding out through the sweeper, putting a bit more pressure on Hank, see if he has a go into the cleavage here. He's up the inside.
Good, Alister.
Ain't going to leave him room. No, he's closed the door. As John just sticks to the end at the back of the TR7 there. The midget will be pretty light and sprightly through those tight bits. The TR7, I would imagine, would be a bit of a handful.
I don't think so. The TR7s, if they did anything wrong, was handled well.
Okay.
That's why they did well in rallying.
There you go.
Yeah. It's really the lack of power.
Fair enough. I was going to, well, more in comparison to the B and the midget, I'd say, but yeah, interesting to hear. As John has a go around the outside.
Can he pull it off?
Yeah, I reckon he'll give it a red hot go. John's a very good steerer. It's, again, a very, very large, small four-door sedan, if you will, the MG, running a front-wheel drive V6, and he's got this thing absolutely flying as he winds back through the field from his little incident earlier on lap 1. John, it probably needs to say that John and a few others in the field here, Jason and a few others have actually made the effort and made the trip over from South Australia to enter this event. So we obviously see a lot of entries from New South Wales and South Australia, obviously in Victoria.
Looks like Alister
so it's really good to see a
past.
classic historic race meeting getting some entries all around the country.
Yes, and we welcome them and thank them for their entry. It's good to see them.
Well, it's a big drive, I'd say, from South Australia. A bit of effort, but no, it's great that they make the effort, and they support our category a fair bit. These are South Australians, so we really enjoy their support and love the camaraderie as they bring it over with them.
Do you race interstate, or is it all in Victoria?
No, look, we are a national category, but generally once a year we have an interstate round. So this year we actually ran last round. We were at Tailem Bend, had a fairly good turnout at Tailem Bend, and had a lot of good racing.
And how many meetings a year?
Look, generally we have 5 or 6 rounds a year. On the odd year we have 7 rounds, and part of the points you'll drop your worst round, so it gives people an opportunity to miss a round if they have life or other commitments. So yeah, it's a really good category. It's been going on since about 1986, believe it or not, since the MG Car Club started MG racing, and obviously in modern years we've just tried to continue the legacy. As John puts a bit of pressure on Vince here as he winds his way through the field, pushes Vince to the inside and coming out down the back straight.
Well, let's see with the braking. No, he can't. He takes it, so the bigger engine wins out on that thing.
Yeah, he's sucked that one out. A bit of commitment there from John. Might be a bit of red mist in that helmet, I'd say, but good on him for pressing on.
All right, we're 7 of 8 laps. Our leader, the reason you haven't seen much of him, is he's 35 seconds ahead of the car coming second.
Well, very capable lightweight thing, that RV8. They've obviously let him continue with the bonnet just flapping a little bit. Yeah, it wasn't too unsafe.
I think we just ran out of footage from Alister.
John just brings it back up into position 9 there.
Continue this until the end of the race.
Jason Edwards is another South Australian on screen now, brought over that little MGF. These MGFs, again, something to think about. They're a really cheap, fun way into modern racing, and although we're not a historic category in the sense we, these cars are good 15, 20 years old now, so a lot of cheap fun to be had out there.
Going through the cleavage there.
Oh, look, realistically, you're on track for under 10 grand. So it's one of the cheaper ways to go racing these days. Again, with the cost of living going up and all this chit chat about expenses, you've got to have your hobby, and that's a cheap way to do it. So this is why we're starting to see a bit of a return of the MGFs and the TFs. They're all out there, and a lot of these cars have been race cars since they left the factory. So a couple of the cars, MGFs out there specifically, are ex-Japanese one make series cars that ended up in Australia. As John just takes another foot off for as he comes onto the back straight, probably putting a little bit too much pressure on. There's Simon, who's just taken the checkered flag, I believe.
Just short of lapping the Spitfire.
Oh, it is the last lap, excuse me, as he comes through for the last lap.
So it will lap the Spitfire.
He'll take Gordon in the Spitfire around the sweeper if he's kind. He'll follow him through. A bit of a gentlemanly cause. Simon's obviously a fair bit quicker than the rest of the field, so as it comes to the last lap, he'll be backing out of it a little bit, just taking it easy on the last lap, cooling things down. Giving a few guys a few extra laps, or the extra lap, excuse me.
Well, I don't know whether he'd cooled it down. He's 41 seconds ahead.
he's definitely pushed.
Yes.
Great sounding car too, the big open V8 5-litre Rover. With he's running a sequential in that car
Gordon
as well. So as he comes over and takes the checkered flag now. We have Mike Trathen following down the back straight, I believe, in coming through for second.
It's a long wait for second.
It is. Look, that midget of Mike Trathen's is a very developed midget. Not much MG midget left in that one. He's really pushed the envelope with the MG midget side of things. It's great to see. We had a few years where there weren't many midgets in the field, and again we've had a bit of a resurgence with the MG midgets and the sprites from Group S and invited British cars. As Mike comes over to take the checkered for second.
That's a midget with a K100 motorcycle engine, BMW head.
I believe that's Danny just coming onto the front straight now in the MGB GT V8. Originally a Group S spec car that's been slightly more developed for MGs
Alister,
as he comes over the line to take third. There's Anthony Volibert there in the background, comes over the line, followed by Alister on Darkchi in number 5.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me,
Well
Don
done.
Bartley got number 5 and Alistair's back into 6th.